Hey everyone, this is going to be a reply to bossman103's video, which in itself was a video response to my video about religious law in the UK. So this will be a video response to that, so I urge you to go and watch that video first, and then come back and watch this one. First of all, bossman, if you are ever in the Bristol area, then look me up and we can have that drink. I'm thinking that we could have a lot of very interesting and fascinating discussions. Likewise, if I'm in Manchester, I'll look you up as well, okay? You say that you agree with most of what I say, but you think exceptions can be made in pertaining to religious laws. And I can kind of see, thinking about it, I can agree with you to a certain extent, but I'm just having a real hard time trying to see why people should have different laws or be exempt from other laws based on what they believe. I mean, atheists or agnostics don't have certain laws all for themselves, so I'm finding it hard to see why other people should. Now, some religious laws I can get behind, and if I was in charge of the country, science forbid, I would keep them. And the one law that I'm thinking of in particular is the case of halal and kosher meat. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically Jews and Muslims can only eat meat as long as it's been slaughtered in the traditional way, that's individual to their own particular religion. And I think an exception can be made there, so I'll concede that point to you. But only if the animals are treated under our already existing safety regulations, like with the pertaining to animal cruelty, to make sure that the animals don't suffer any cruel or unnecessary suffering, things like that. If they can, then that's fine. I'm in favour of keeping it. If not, then it shouldn't be allowed, no matter what they believe or what they don't. You say that the headdresses that the Sikhs wear, the turbans, are important to them, and they have as much right to wear it as I say that they don't. So it's discriminatory to say that they can't wear it, and you equate it to women wearing the hijab, Islamic women wearing the hijab. Now, I'm not saying that Sikhs cannot wear their turbans ever, and they can only do it within their house or something. I just think that they should have to wear motorcycle helmets if they're riding the motorcycle. I mean, I'm not saying ban it or ban any sort of religious clothing. I just think that when it comes to laws pertaining to the riding on a motorcycle, that they should stay within the same laws as the rest of us do. I mean, I don't think it's discriminatory to say that the Sikhs must adhere to the same laws as everyone else. It's not like we're singling them out. They're doing that themselves by saying that they are the only group that can be exempt from this particular law. I mean, if people think that they are being forced to adhere to this law, then so was everyone else that drives a motorcycle. In the case of women wearing the hijab or the burqa, I have absolutely no problem with. It's my understanding that the burqa is not mandatory for Islamic women to wear anyway. I mean, if I'm wrong, then please correct me. But I think that's correct. Women wearing certain pieces of clothing like that doesn't go against any law that I'm aware of. And that's a purely personal choice anyway. Especially when it comes to the burqa, which I think is voluntary, like as I said. But there does come a point where your personal freedoms are curtailed in the interests of safety. In whether it's the safety of you or the safety of other people, and that's where safety laws come in my opinion. They're not there to discriminate. They are there to save lives, and if I think everyone has to follow them, regardless. And that's just me. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who believe that certain laws are flawed and they shouldn't have to follow them, but they do, because the laws of this country are made for everyone in this country, and no exceptions are to be made. This is one of the things I talked about in my last video. It's a lot harder to change laws made by God than laws made by men. Now, you'd think that if the Hindu God was real, that they would have seen this shit coming. That whatever the holy book of the Hindu sorry, I meant to say the Sikhs. if the Sikh God was real, then they thought you think that they would have seen this shit coming. Um, in the Sikh holy book, which I believe is called the Granth, maybe I think I saw that on QI, that they would have seen that they would have had a problem with motorcycles in the future, so they would have put something in their holy book saying, you know, you must keep the turban close to your head, touching your head at all times, except in, you know, certain cases where you need to go somewhere, or, you know, if you need to ride a two-wheeled vehicular mechanical machine or something like that. You know, you just think that they would have, you know, noticed that this was going to be a problem in the future, and the Sikh God would have done something about it. Just my opinion. Now, and then you talked about the nurses wearing the crucifixes on you know, basically going around their rounds to different wards and stuff. But I see that as a bit different than say a woman in the street wearing a burqa. And the differences I've seen is that they were doing a job. You know, they were at their job when this happened, and they were representing someone else. You know, namely the NHS. And they have a job description that they must adhere to. You know, I mean, they knew about what they could and could not do before the job started. And, you know, it wouldn't matter what they were wearing, whether it was a cross, or, you know, like a Darwin fish, or anything to do with atheism or any other type of religion. If it was against a job description, then, you know, the company, whoever they worked for, had every right to fire them. Personally, if they kept it sort of under their clothes or something, or even if it was a tiny little cross, I can't say I would be that pissed off. I mean, I don't think they should do it, but well, basically, as long as it's under their clothes, you know, and they follow the job description, you know, I really don't think they should be. Again, I don't think they should have any sort of exceptions there just because they happen to believe in, you know, their particular deity. In the cases of people wearing jewelry or headdresses, like I said with the hijab or something, I really have no problem with. People should be able to wear whatever the hell they want. I remember a few years ago I was at a festival here in Bristol, and there was a woman there that looked like the Virgin Mary, with sort of, you know, the very sort of long robes and stuff, and she had a notice that said, I am pregnant with God's baby, and this is the second coming of Jesus Christ or something. That people may think she was a bit of a kook, and, you know, I think so too, but I wouldn't say that she wouldn't be able to wear that. I mean, she should be able to do what she wants. So, you know, any sort of particular religious headgear or clothing, no problem with it at all. Go nuts. And you talk about euthanasia as well, saying that you couldn't sell euthanasia products to someone, but that doesn't make you a bad person. I completely agree. I don't think I could do that either. You know, that's a very controversial subject. It's something that's very real, and it's very speaks to the heart of us. You know, it's something that everyone can understand. If you didn't want to give someone something that you knew they would use to end their life, you know, but I have to say that your morality there, well, anyone's morality, is based on something very real, which would be the death of another human being. And so I can understand having laws there exempting people for you know, for not wanting to sell those kind of products to people, but not when it's to do with something that really can't be proven one way or the other, which would be, you know, the existence of a deity. So I'm still against religious law in most cases, but I can see where you're coming from, Bossman. I just can't see why someone's beliefs, you know, in a deity should override certain rules and regulations that have already been established in this country. We don't do it for other people who believe in other things that may or may not be true. You know, I think that we should treat everyone equally by making everyone follow the same rules. And, you know, I do not think I am out of order by saying that. But saying that, I do feel a little bit bad saying this, because you're a nice guy, and, you know, there are a lot of good Christians out there, like, you know, Abby, and probably people are thinking I have some sort of complex about her because I've mentioned her twice in recent videos. But, you know, she is just an example of a very decent Christian, and like you are, Bossman. And I'm not saying this, I'm not making this video as a mean or nasty thing to try and exclude Christians, or, you know, to try and make fun of you or something, or saying that, you know, I'm forcing you to abide by secular laws or atheist laws or something like that. But this is how I feel. You know, have your beliefs, please. You know, have whatever beliefs you want. I just think that, you know, everyone should follow all the rules of this country equally. You know, that's just how I see it. I may be wrong, but that is my opinion. So I've rambled long enough about this video. If there's any other questions that anybody wants to ask me, then feel free. You know, I try to answer as many comments as I can. So here's hoping I answered most of your questions and your objections, boss man. And to, you know, everyone else, including you, boss man, cheerio.